Okay, well I guess it's 20 past, so I think we'll start. Thank you so much for all coming this afternoon. I know it's getting towards the end of the conference, and if you're like me, you're starting to feel a little bit jaded. I did think that maybe putting making money in the title might bring a few people in, so welcome. Okay. We're going to be talking today about making video, and I think there are 4 ways that you can use video in the classroom. These are the 4 that I think there are, and these are the 2 that I think can make you some money. So the first one is online course creation. You can take what you already know, you can take your expertise, and you can make courses that you can sell asynchronously to people who can buy them like books. I always put a caveat in an email to people who buy my courses saying, please do email me if you've got any problems at all, and I am genuinely very, very happy to help if they do. But most people don't. Genuinely, most of the time, people buy my courses, they use them, happy days. They pay me. The second way that you can make video is to make promotional video. And that comes in a couple of different varieties. So you can make promotional video to promote your online courses. They don't sell themselves, unfortunately. And that might take the form of, this is my course, so this is what it can do for you. And then there's also promotional video, perhaps for your teaching services. So you might want to make material which draws people in for classes. The other kind of option is to make content material for social media so that people get to know you, they get to like you. Some of you might have seen some of my free stuff. I tend to throw it out at the internet quite frequently. And so these are the ways that I think you can make money from video. If you came here today thinking she's going to be talking about how you can make it from YouTube adverts, please put your hand up. Go on, don't be shy. You thought YouTube adverts, that's probably the way I'm going to be making money out of video. Oh, that's okay. Oh, okay, 1 or 2. No. Sorry. It's, of course it's possible. Lots of people do. But you have to have a really, really big audience for that. I've got about 40,000 followers. I've had about 2 million views. I feel quite proud about that. My children say, oh, Mum, really? That's nothing. And, of course, and I earn about £100 a month from YouTube. Nothing. Very, very little. But YouTube is a very good way to get people to see your stuff, to bring people then to your website where you have your online courses that you're going to sell them. So it is a good medium, but it's probably not the adverts that are going to earn you the money. So if you're here, you've probably got some ideas about how you might like to monetize the skills that you have. So I would like you to turn to your partner in good old-fashioned style and just tell them briefly what those ideas are. Well, that's fabulous that we've all got so many ideas. This doesn't surprise me at all. You all have great skills, clearly, or you wouldn't be here, actually. Not here in this room, here in this conference. So this is my website. Can you put your hand up if you've never seen it? If you just came along because it said making money. Okay. Okay. Well, do go along and have a look. This is my website, ELT Training. I launched it on Friday the 13th, unlucky for some, 12 years ago, and it's been a source of constant joy and income for me ever since. It's obviously grown over time and changed over time. And over the last 2 years, it's been my full-time income and has allowed me an enormous amount of freedom in my working life. So I started off with, I am a CELTA trainer, and I was working in a centre where I was getting a lot of candidates who were first language English speakers, who didn't know what a preposition was. or what the present perfect was, or why articles were difficult. And I would send them away with parrot and swan and say, come back to me when you've learnt a bit. And I had a comment later from someone who said, I just knew nothing, and so it was like reading Russian. And what I wanted to do was to make a course which would help people to do this, and so that's what I did, and that was my original course back in 2012. So way back then, I had one course that I was selling, and I made one promotional video, which was actually content marketing stuff. It was things about classroom methodology and teaching vocabulary, teaching grammar. But not about grammar, note. Same audience, different subject. I was making one of those once a month because at the time I had 3 young children and a job and not much time. In that first year, where I was really just treating it as a kind of a bit of a hobby, I enjoyed it, it was fun, you know, I earned £3,000. Now, that's not a huge amount of money, but you know, it was a helpful bit of extra in my pocket. Last year, the website turned over £108,000. That's not bad, really. Now that's turnover, but my overheads are very low. It's not a huge amount of overheads on something like this. And that is a lot more than I've earned in any teaching job I've had, including a very nice job at Warwick University teaching on their MAT SOL programme. So it is possible. I'm going to take you, before I go on, I'm going to take you through 12 things that I've learned, and I want to leave some time at the end, so I'm going to aim to get through with hopefully about 10 minutes at the end. So do hang on to your questions, because hopefully we'll have some. I hope that you'll participate in this too. So why should you have video? Why should you use video? That's the first question. Well, as I said, it can make you money. And it's a different mindset, I think. There's a whole lot of different things to learn, not just the making of the video, but the putting it out there, and I think becoming a person who is independently working rather than working for somebody else. That's a whole mind shift in itself. So I'm not saying it's only about video, but it can definitely, it's the start of something that can really make you some money. This one's interesting. If you don't stand up, you can't stand out. If people don't see you, they can't give you opportunities. That's been my experience. That I am very realistic about my own abilities. I think I'm a good teacher. I think I'm a good trainer. I've had lots of feedback from people to suggest that that's the case. But I know so many teachers and trainers who I would say are much, much better than me, but they haven't had so far the same kind of opportunities that I've had because people don't know they exist. People don't know their skills exist. So when I started making videos, not only was it for the website, but I got approached for all sorts of other things. Please will you come and do this workshop for us? This was pre-COVID, clearly. Come in person, we will pay you. Please will you be an assessor and later a JCA for Cambridge? I'm sure that being more visible had something to do with that. Even the job that I got at Warwick University, actually, I think that the fact that I was visible and out there wasn't a terrible thing in my favour. It wasn't the only reason. But, so these things help. If people see you, they're more likely to give you opportunity. The thing that's probably stopping you is that nasty little voice going, I'm not good enough. You are. Of course you are. You go into your class every day. You're good enough for your learners. Why wouldn't you be good enough for other learners? Or, it's all been done before by people who are better than me. Yeah, it's all been done before. And it will all be done again, and again, and again. And there's a messenger for everyone. There are different messages for different times. All of the talks you've been to at this conference, don't tell me that all of the things that you've learned have been brand new. Of course they haven't. They've all been built on things that go before. So this is the voices there to keep you safe, but you just have to tell it to go away. The worst thing that you think can probably happen to you is that people will say nasty things. Mostly they don't. It's very, very rare that I get negative comments. Much, much more common I get really nice comments. That's lovely. You can delete comments on social media. I tend to just ignore them, but actually the worst thing that will happen probably is not that people will say nasty things, it's that people will just switch you off. And you will never know if that happens or not, so you shouldn't worry about it. This is number 3. Video is personal. In a way far above text and pictures. Video makes people feel that they know you. I'm approached constantly at the conference by people who say, oh, thank you, I really liked your stuff, I've used your stuff. And people really feel like they've got a personal connection with me. I've had that comment many, many times. I've got a couple of nods in the audience, that's nice, thank you. So it is personal, and I think this is really important, because if people feel that they know you, and they like you, and you're credible, and they trust what you have to say, they're much more likely to buy your stuff. Number 4. It's really necessary for online courses. If you're going to make online courses in 2024, I think you have to include video. You could do with audio and text, but if you're going to do that, then write a book. You know, really, online courses demand video, so you're going to have to do it. This is a page from one of my courses. It's what the interface looks like. Teaching in video format is actually quite different to teaching synchronously, whether that's face-to-face or on Zoom, online. Teaching asynchronously is quite different. It's much more concise. A session that would normally take me maybe an hour, asynchronously, face-to-face, or probably about 15 minutes worth of video, probably. Certainly not much more. It's amazing how that condenses down. You have to think about how you can engage people when you don't know if they're engaged or not. And you have to keep things moving, and there's quite a lot of emphasis, I think, on movement and change to keep people engaged. So those are the important things to think about. Let's move on a bit. Let's talk about equipment. The good news is that whatever you want to use to film, you already probably own. Your camera on your phone is probably pretty good. It's probably better than that on your webcam. It's probably better than the one on your laptop. And the only problem might be with your phone is that your storage might be a bit limited, depending on what kind of phone you've got. So you don't have to go out and buy, an expensive camera. You can use the one on your phone. You'll get very good results. I do. That's what I do all my recording on. Hang on. And breathe, Joe. Breathe. I was going to say that. I've now completely lost my train of thought. Expensive cameras and storage, and I think that was about it. Remember that most people are probably going to watch on what sort of screen? Nice big computer screen, or? The picture will be this big. The quality is not that important, probably, and your phone's just fine. Lighting, though, does make a big difference. Lighting makes a big difference. Now, that can be a bit tricky. That's probably the trickiest bit about filming, I would say. You can film outside. Often the light's quite nice outside, especially if you're in the shade, early in the morning, later in the afternoon. Problem with being outside might be what? What do you think might be the problem of filming outside? Yeah. So you've often got cars in the background or something else. You can film by a window. Make sure that the window's to the side of you or in front of you. If it's behind you, you're going to be just a very dark space where your face is. You can buy some lighting. I think it's worth investing in a bit of lighting, probably. That helps. Number 7 is sound. That's the one actually that's probably more important, and it is worth investing in an external mic. even a cheap one, and they're not expensive. Even a cheap external mic will make your sound much better quality than the mic on your phone or on your laptop or computer, what have you. So I definitely recommend that. I think the good news here, and number 8, is that you can really build this up piece by piece. I did not start 12 years ago and have a big budget and go, I really bought nothing at first. And I made a few videos and I tried things out, and then I realised that mic was really going to be an important thing, and went on a bit further, and the lighting, I bought some lights, and as I've gone on I bought better equipment and things that's nice to have, more expensive equipment, but it wasn't necessary, and it's something that you can do as you go along and as you feel it's justified. So I think my message with all of this is that you can just put a toe in the water. You don't have to leap in and burn all your bridges. You can just play around with this. You can build things up. You don't have to make a big, it doesn't have to be a whole thing straight away. Let's move on to the actual filming. This is important. Your appearance and your background and your attitude are a big part of the message. We'd all like to say we don't judge on appearance, but we do. So I'd just like you to have a look at this guy. This is Diary of a CEO, a YouTube channel I would highly recommend. Just think in your head, 3 adjectives, please, to describe this man. Think, would you want to listen to him? Would you want to learn from him? What do you think says that to you? 3 adjectives. And when you've got them, just quickly turn to your partner, tell them. How about this guy? Rob Words. If you don't know this YouTube channel, also one I would highly recommend. He's fantastic. Rob Words. Little bit different feeling entirely. But still, I think, I love watching him, and he's great. I think he's taken the whole, you can see he's in the middle of a wood, probably just because it's quiet and he's got the light there. How about that one? I painted that wall, that colour specifically because I thought that'd look quite nice on camera. But you can set up somewhere in your house, just a little space where it looks quite nice. One of the people who did the course showed me the place where she was filming, and it looked fabulous in her videos. She was in this nice little sort of nook, and it was well lit. It looked very professional. And when she showed me, she had a very small living room with a TV here and a space about that wide in the corner behind the TV, and that's where she was filming. So it doesn't have to be an enormous space, but I think you have to think about what's it going to look like, and what are you going to look like? Choose what you want to look like. There's no right answer here, but you have to make that a conscious decision, I think. The other thing is your attitude. And I always think that you have to be you, because who else can you be? But you on a good day. You on a first date, possibly, when you're kind of a bit excited and feeling very enthusiastic and wanting to show your best. I think that sort of thing comes across very well on video and helps people to know that they want to continue to watch it. So that's number 9. Number 10 is a really easy one and a very simple one, and that's wide body shapes make you feel more confident. There's lots of psychological research that proves this is true, and I spent the first 10 years more of my video making career sitting with my hands on my lap. And then I read all this research and I thought, actually I saw it on YouTube, and I thought, I'll just kind of, make my body a bit wider. Just try it, just sit like that. Come on, do it, I'm watching you, do it. And now just kind of relax, put your shoulders back and put your arm up. Can you feel how different it feels? And it looks different on video. It looks different on video, it makes you look more confident, makes you feel more confident. It's a very simple trick. I give that to you as a gift. Editing, moving on to editing, I'm aware of time. Number 11 is this: editing is the key. It's what is so brilliant and beautiful about video making is you don't have to worry about, oh, the first time I, this talk about make a bit of a mistake or a fumble or a, it doesn't matter, because in the editing process, you're just gonna cut those bits out. Nobody needs to see them. And if you make a funny face or something, you can just put a picture over the top of that or another video, or you can distract people with some writing over here perhaps. You don't have to put anything out until you're happy with it. I don't say until it's perfect, because that doesn't exist, but until you're happy with it. So editing is wonderful. This is Camtasia. It's the program that I've been using for a very long time. I really like it. It's quite user-friendly and it's very powerful. But there are other things. CapCut is free and also very powerful these days. iMovie does a good job if you're a Mac user. So, but editing is really key. Number 12 is that editing is going to take you a lot more time than you expect. It does take a lot of time, I can't deny it. People often say to me, does it get quicker as you go along? And the answer is, well, yes and no. Because yes, of course, the routines that you use all the time, you get faster at, you know where things are, you can do things more quickly, you've got templates. But you tend to learn how to do more things and make things look even nicer, and so therefore that takes you more time. But the second part of this really is that it will be a lot more fun than you expect it to be. I love editing. I'd much rather do it than watch the telly. It's very creative. You can fiddle around with things. Will it look nice if I look bigger in the picture, if I look smaller, if I put some video over here? Which kind of picture should I choose? How am I going to make that move through? I really like doing it. I offer that to you. And I've got one bonus for you too. The other big thing that it's worth considering is, if you look at these graphs, practice. Like all practical skills, the more you do this, the better you will get. And I don't say practice makes perfect, because as I said before, no such thing. And if you strive for it, you're in for you're going to hurt yourself. That's not the way to go, I don't think. But practice makes better. If I look back at the videos I did 10 years ago, I do find them a bit cringy, but people still watch them. I still get nice feedback on them. Somebody likes them. So, and they've got an awful lot of views. The longer the old ones have got a lot more views, of course, than the more recent ones, because they've been there a while. Can you do this on your own? Learn how to do it on your own? Of course you can, I did. But maybe you probably won't, because it does take a bit of determination, I suppose. So my video creation for educators course, here it is, here's the plug, guys. And there's several people in this room who've actually done it, which is very sweet of them to come, because they've clearly already heard all of this. It's an 8-week group program, and if you can imagine CELTA without the stress for video making, that's what it is. There's input every week. When you do something every week, you make a short video every week. It's all about the doing. We meet in small groups of 4 on Zoom once a week, and basically have a feedback session. Play a video, we talk about it. What did you like? What were you happy with? What are you going to take forward to next week's video? And then we'll do it all again and again and again. And I think that peer pressure and the support from me has really helped people. I've had fantastic feedback from the 80 plus people who've done the course so far over the last couple of years. As I say, I wanted to leave some time for questions. I have a little bit of time, about 5 minutes, I think. Any questions? Yes.
What platform do you use for your courses? Is it Moodle?
No, I started off with Moodle. First 4 years, 5 years, I started with Moodle. Moodle's very powerful and very cheap, but it's also very clunky, and it also always looks like Moodle. You can't stop it looking like Moodle. So at that point I moved to LearnWorlds. I really like LearnWorlds, I'm very happy with it, but it's quite expensive. So if you're thinking about doing this, I would suggest Teachable or Thinkific. They're both platforms which are easy to use and they're designed to be used like this. So they'll look nice, and the entry point there is very free or cheap. Any other questions? Yes?
How did you decide on pricing?
There's a good question. That's a good question. Kind of like that. I have learned to put my prices up and up. I have learned that having a lower price does not signal, oh, that's great, that's cheap, I'll buy it. It signals that can't be very good, really. And so I'm becoming unafraid, I say, very, to charge more and to think about what my courses are worth. Ola is actually the person you want to talk to about pricing, really, not me. Any other questions? Oh, I've silenced you all. Yes.
Do you have any don'ts? Like, you've given us lots of do's, things we should do, but any like don'ts?
Ah, that's a good question. Any don'ts? Not really. I think with pretty much anything in life, and certainly with this sort of thing, you've just got to keep trying. You've got to keep moving forward, putting one foot in front of another, and you will make mistakes. That's the nature of anything, teaching, getting better at anything, isn't it? So I would say that you'll probably find your own don'ts as you go along. Yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah. Yes.
So are your courses just videos, or do you offer like persons online with you also?
No. Well, only for my courses for CELTA trainees and for teachers are just videos. Essentially, you're buying a book. Mm-hmm. The video creation course has got me all over it. You just won't get rid of me. It's very, very personal. And for that reason, it has a much higher price point, of course. So that's the thing. So that was a group program. I'm in it. It's very much live. All the other things I always say to people, email me, and I always reply, and I'm very happy to, and I like interacting with people. It doesn't happen very often. So I'd like to leave you with this thought. Independence to me doesn't mean you'll stop working. It means you'll only do the work you like at the times you want for as long as you want. Video has given me this. Last year, I travelled for 4 months all the way down to Greece and back. My father recently was ill. I was able to drop everything immediately and come back to the UK. It's given me an incredible freedom. If I wake up in the morning, don't fancy working today, I don't work. I do work quite a lot because I love it. I love what I do. But I choose how I do it, and that is incredibly powerful. And I earn a good living doing it. And because of this, I'm really passionate about trying to get other people to see that this might be a possibility for them too. Because I see so many talented people being paid very low salaries. This doesn't have to be the only thing you do. It might just be, as I've said before, just a toe in the water, try it out, see how it goes. Maybe this works for you, maybe you don't like that kind of working, maybe it's not going to work for you. That's okay too. But it's a real option these days. It's a really easy option to, with the access that you have to an audience with the internet. And so, for that reason, I think it's worth really thinking about.
What about problems of piracy, that people will just use your video?
You can't stop people. I mean, I did worry about that at first. I thought when I first had my course, I limited the exposure, but I think ultimately you have to just kind of trust the universe and go, if people are going to pirate it, they're going to pirate it, and I can't actually stop them. So let's not worry about it. Right?
What about marketing and getting people to... Obviously, later on you have momentum, but at the beginning, what did you do in order to market?
Yeah, good question. Because I was only at CELTA trainees only at first, I would make this new video every month, and I'm just going to put that in case anybody needs to see. I would make a new video every month, which was aimed at CELTA trainees. And I would send an email out to all the CELTA centres saying, here, I've got this new video, it's about concept check questions, you might find that useful for your CELTA trainees, it's free. Oh, and by the way, I still sell that grammar course. And I did that every month for about 5 years. And I also then started a lot more, and also Facebook particularly has been my kind of medium of choice. And as I've gone on, I post more obviously now, and there's more, I put more out on other platforms. But that was how I did it to start with. I've got an email list as well. If you go on my site and you're not on my newsletter, do sign up. It's quite friendly. I send out an email every Sunday and people seem to like it. There's usually useful stuff in there, and you can always unsubscribe if you don't like it. Okay. I think I'm done. I see Dorothy waiting at the back. Yes.